Well, those were the headlines we were tracking for you today. Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Megha Vishwanath and with me is my colleague Mugdha Warrior. On What's Brewing today, Intel India has had a very busy week. They held a virtual summit this week and also announced the launch of a new applied AI research center in collaboration with the Telangana government, IIIT Hyderabad and the Public Health Foundation of India. During this summit, Intel also unveiled the impact of artificial intelligence or AI on Indian labour market report. And one of the findings from the surveys is that the firms that have projects with high suitability for machine learning are expected to receive investments that are broader in scope and quantum. That is, of course, one of the many findings that this survey has brought out. Now, to talk about all the announcements that was made from Intel and this report, of course, I am now joined by Nivruti Rai, country head of Intel India. Nivruti, thank you so much for being with us on CNBC-TV18. As I said, let's start by talking about this impact of ML on India markets report. What sort of projects are we talking about? Because I know that that was one of the key findings from this survey.
Absolutely. So let me give you a little bit of a context, then I can explain about the report and all the announcements we made. And like you said, it was a week-long summit and very exciting, very fulfilling. Let me just start with what the name of the summit was. It was called All.ai at Population Scale. So the intent is, when we talk about India, we often think about population, we often think about software, we often think about the lots of problems. So what we decided is we leverage the population and create solution for the population. We will leverage, the technology IP that we have within MNCs, within Indian companies, within academia. We will partner with policy makers like the government and come together and drive work. So this summit is actually not a conference. So I want to just clarify. We've been working on this for the last 3 years. 3 years working on health, working on smart mobility, and as well as education. What we unveiled on day one, we inaugurated an AI research center in partnership with Government of Telangana, Department of Science and Technology, IIIT Hyderabad, and PHFI. Also, we inaugurated AI for Youth Symposium on day one. The intent was to train as many people on AI, 5G, security, privacy, etc. We also was attempting...
Nivruti, I just want to jump in. I just want to jump in here. We'll talk about some of the announcements that you've made in detail. But I just want to jump in here because an interesting metric that stood out for me in the survey and the report that you put together was that you found over 70% expected organizational headcount to increase in response to implementation of AI in their organization over the next 2 years. So that is very different from what we've been hearing, especially about AI and workforce. It looks like the fear of the artificial intelligence is behind us.
Absolutely. So the workforce, we do believe, will increase significantly, and 70% is what our survey was saying. And the reason is very simple. When you look at an entire solution with AI, the actual implementation of AI is only 20 to 30%. The rest is other areas that we need people for, and which does not need very high level of qualification and will be required to create the solution. So we believe if India is looking at creating $500 billion by the next 5 years, we will have to create more value, which will require more jobs. And more jobs will be coming from different areas of AI technology, vision being one of them, natural language being one of them. And we believe that we will create significant more value, which will require more people. And therefore, the intent is to make the people valuable and make the people hireable is the reskilling and skilling that we have to do. That's why the education part that I was sharing with you is absolutely essential and important. And to add, in this summit, we were able to train 86,000 people, and we are still continuing. Our numbers are expected to be 150, and we have entered into the Guinness Book of World Record for training maximum people for 24 in the 24 hours. The reason is very simple. The 70% in addition to higher will only come if we are able to train people in the right skills.
Right. I just want to quickly jump in here. And before I let you go, Nivruti, you've, of course, been working very closely with both the central and several state governments and wanting to position India as a powerhouse of AI. But let's talk about, what kind of collaborations are you now looking at going forward? Of course, you've had one with the Telangana government, with the Karnataka government, but give us a future roadmap here.
Sure. So, I told you the three areas that I'm focusing on. One is health, the other is smart mobility, and the third is education. Let me give you the vision I have. The vision I have for smart mobility is I want 0 deaths on Indian roads due to traffic accidents. And by the way, today, 17 deaths happen in an hour. And I will tell you that we have run POCs in UP, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka to see that with our technology, we've already shown 50% reduction. Now, each value, the life is so valuable, even one life saved makes me happy. So imagine 50% life saved. So that is a project that we just announced during this summit with Karnataka. KSRTC will have this technology on every single bus. And now we are working with Sri Nitin Gadkari ji to scale. I can run POCs, I can run, small projects, but if I need to scale at the country level, I need strong partnership with both state and central government, and that's what my attempt is. And let me just give you one quick sentence on health.
And that's something. Yes, please go ahead.
In terms of health, the pandemic is making us realize the accessibility of doctors is so precious. While we have been working on this for the last 3 years on diagnostics as well as treatment, the number of doctors we have is significantly lower than the number of the requirements we have as compared to other countries. So our goal is to leverage machine learning, artificial intelligence, and create an expert system for diagnostics and treatment such that every single person in India have accessibility to these doctors. And my dream is to see a disease-free India.
Well, that is a tall claim, and of course, the government and the industry clearly is looking to collaborate and make that dream a reality. Nivruti, thank you so much for being with us on Startup Street and sharing all those details with us. With that, we'll have to slip into a quick break. But on the other side, content writing and services platform Pepper Content had raised a fresh round of funds. We speak to the co-founder on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Startup Street. Now, content marketplace platform Pepper Content has raised $4.2 million in its Series A round of funding led by Lightspeed India and several marquee angels from India and Silicon Valley. To talk about where this funding is going to be used, we have with us the CEO, Anirudh Singla. Anirudh, welcome on the show. And before I ask you what you're going to do with this new capital, I wanted to actually ask you about a tweet you had put up in which you say that you keep reiterating, to investors and customers and employees that every company is going to turn into a content company. Could you quickly elaborate that for us and how that's really playing out?
Surely. I think there's this whole new wave of online marketing that's scaling up so massively, and every company's spending for recognition content is a granular atom of marketing. And both traditional companies and digital first companies have realized the value of content, the value of unique, more specialized, high quality content that brings in to the table. And I think this is where Pepper can help each company become a content company with more specialized talent workforce that we provide through our platform. And there's this interesting wave of more and more businesses changing to brands, businesses bringing online stores online. So there's this whole wave of Dukaan Tech coming. So I think content is going to become a very powerful tool along with commerce to shape things up.
Okay. You started in a dorm room 3 years ago, and now here you've raised $4.2 million. If you can quickly tell us about the plans with this funding. You're looking to expand into new categories of audio, video, into new market. Quickly just run us through your plans.
Surely. So currently, I think we're the market leader in text-based content, and things are scaling up very massively. We have about 400 plus customers now already. And there's a very strong customer demand that's come in themselves, where they want us to expand into graphic design and video and other content categories as well. And I think we've just launched graphic design last week. and plan is to eventually move into video mid next year. So I see using this fundraise to expand into other categories like audio and video and double down on design. And a very interesting thing is Pepper has to be a global play. We're a company building out of India for the globe. And for us, it's very important to establish the right product market fit, the right go-to market. And I think the next year should see us going into Southeast Asia as well as we expand.
Okay, so next year, Southeast Asia. Now, your clients include the likes of Amazon, Swiggy, Adobe, Apollo Hospitals, etc. In fact, you said in your press release that in the last 3 months alone, you've added 150 enterprises and SME customers. So what's the mix like among large corporates and SMEs among your client portfolio? And where is the demand really coming from? Which sector, particular industry is looking for more content?
Definitely. So I think very interesting, especially after COVID, there's a very huge boost that came to our business. Two fundamental factors. Enterprises who really believed in doing content in-house and having that control realized that they had no other option but to do it remote. And over time, as the remote culture increased, they realized why not find a more reliable, more high quality partner in content and can just get content get done remote. And that's where I think we saw this huge wave of enterprises coming in, companies like Max Bupa, Apollo Hospitals, Kotak Assets, and all these companies coming to us for content. Area especially that we've seen huge increase in is especially education. We have this EdTech goldmine that's already going in. So I think these are areas where we have doubled down on.
Okay.
One interesting category I see is languages. Huge multilingual impact that's happened.
Okay. Okay. So these companies then come to your platform for content, and it's the content creators on your platform that really provide these companies with content. So what's the base, your creator base like, does it include students, homemakers, freelancers? Just give us an idea of who's really working on this.
Sure. So far about 35,000 plus creators have applied to be part of Pepper. Most of them are content writers, graphic designers. The demographic is, it started with students initially, but now it's professionals across all walks of life. These are full-time professionals who are now in plans to, as a side gig, coming to our platform as a creator. It's both for monetary as well as a passion aspect to it. And I see with the remote culture that has kicked in now, I think this trend is going to increase on both sides, both from a business and a creator perspective as more and more creative professionals get freelance.
Okay. All right, Anirudh. Congrats on your funding again. Thank you so much for joining us here. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned. A lot more on the other side.